Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. In today's video, we'll talk about a planetary combination related to 10th house, which has always been a cause of concern and distress among the people. So let's talk about this in detail and get rid of all the myths and misbeliefs. In today's session, we'll talk about Duryoga. Well, what does that mean? Whenever your 10th lord, the planet which rules the 10th house, is placed in 6th, 8th, or the 12th house, it's said to be giving Duryoga. When you break this term into two words, Dur comes from the word Durgam. Durgam means inaccessible. You're trying to reach to a destination, but you are unable to due to your hardships and sufferings. So dur means difficult, hardship. Yoga means planetary combination. So dur yoga means a planetary yoga or a combination which is bringing difficulties and hardships in your life. It's said that whenever the 10th lord gets into these houses, one does not achieves the fruit of their efforts, labor, and hard work. It also creates unfavorable and challenging situations at the work front. It makes one quite irrelevant in the eyes of public. But why these placements are considered to be so dreadful? Well, 10th house is your karma sthan. It signifies your profession, actions, social status, and how your actions will be perceived by the world. With respect to this modern era, if you ask me, 10th house signifies how relevant you are in this modern world. Whereas 6th, 8th, and the 12th house are known as the Dusthana houses. These are the three houses which generates trials and challenges in life. If you consider the first, fourth, seventh, and the 10th house as the Vishnu houses because they generate prosperity and stability, if you consider fifth and the ninth house as the Lakshmi houses because they bring prosperity, then I think the sixth, eighth, and the 12th house should be considered as the Rudra houses because these are the houses which will constantly bring in chaos and trials. All of these houses will act as a nucleus for change and transformation. Otherwise, we'll be forever stuck at one place in our own comfort zone and nothing will grow. Sixth house is the house of obstacles, competition, dispute, misery, enemies, diseases, debt, and routine. Eighth house is the house of sudden changes, transformation, rebirth, destruction, upheaval, dishonor, controversy, hidden secrets, and despair. 12th house is the house of exile, isolation, foreign lands, withdrawal, expenditures, unexpected failure. Like you're constantly working for something and it doesn't works out in the end. And that's why when the 10th lord is placed in these houses, it affects our professional journey. And same goes for Amatyakaraka, the second highest degree planet, because it rules over our actions. It has a duty to fulfill the purpose and the desires of your soul. So Amatyakaraka itself rules over our actions. And whenever it gets into 6th, 8th, and the 12th house, yes, it will impact your professional journey and your success. So let's talk about individually what happens when 10th lord is in the 6th, 8th, and the 12th houses. Before we talk about this in detail, there are few things which you need to consider.
Firstly, you need to see which planet is ruling over your 10th house, whether it's a benefic or a malefic, or it is associated to the lunar nodes, that is Rahu and Ketu. Number two, check out the Rashi placement of your 10th lord and also the strength of this planet, whether this planet is in conjunction with other planets or it is receiving an aspect. Then you have to see what all planets are placed in your 10th house. After that, check out the positive and the negative yogas in your horoscope. Then look at the condition of your first and the ninth house. Are these houses associated to positive planetary placements, or these houses are afflicted? Because when these two houses are afflicted, it really affects your opportunities. Lastly, look into the Navamsha and the Shamsha division both. Check out who is the 10th lord and how it is placed. When the 10th lord or the Amatyakaraka is in the 6th house, it's said that one doesn't achieve the benefit or the fruit of hard work. Well, it's absolutely false. See, 6th house rules over conflicts and challenges. So when 10th lord is placed in the 6th house, whatever work you might pursue, you will be constantly dealing with conflicts. The natural ruler of the 6th house is the ultimate service provider, Virgo. Therefore, you will be into such works where things are challenging on a daily basis, because this house is also the house of routine. You may pursue a job of a healer, doctor, nurse, paramedic, lawyer, judge, counselor, animal care, police, military. So you are constantly in conflict. You will be fighting either with the diseases or fighting for justice, equality, and protection. 10th lord in the 6th house or Amatya Karaka in the 6th house also means you might have long working hours. Such professions where you have to judge others, you have to be this critic, or you need to keep a keen eye on every minute detail. So it can also give such professions which are associated to an analyst or a loan recovery agent, accountant. So all of these works where you have to sit in a cubicle and work for long hours, and this might get a bit frustrating. Therefore, the truth is, 10th lord in the 6th house gives challenging professional roles which requires a lot of efforts and hard work. You may face rivalry and enmity at the workplace because 6th house is 9 places away from the 10th house. You will have an edge over others because you are far more knowledgeable, wiser, and talented, which would bring authoritative roles. But if the 10th lord is afflicted or there are other malefics in the 6th house, it might not give you authoritative roles early in life. Initially, you might face dominating people in your journey, and you have to really work under very challenging circumstances. So you have to see everything, who is your 10th lord and how it is placed, whether it's associated to other planets or not. So it is your wisdom and knowledge which is going to bring criticism. People will get jealous of your talent and knowledge. If the 10th lord is severely afflicted or associated to malefics, it may not give you the much expected income initially. Also, it might lead to dispute at the workplace. But remember that it is an Upchaya house. So the later half of life is much better. You will get your much deserved respect and success. So 10th lord in 6th house is not a bad placement, but definitely your start of your professional journey, the initiation can be difficult, and gradually you will really attain more powerful roles. Your income will get much better. With this placement, it's also possible that in order to enhance your skills or to acquire a higher degree or to just create your professional setup, you may take up a loan. When the 10th lord is in the 8th house or the Amatya Karaka is in the 8th house, it's said that one deceives others to attain their living. And also, even if they walk on the right path, their efforts will go unrecognized. Of course, it's absolutely false. When 10th lord gets into the 8th house, it gives a work where you have to deal with secrets or maintain utmost confidentiality. You will be into an absolutely classified work. It's the secretive nature of your work which would appear to be deceiving to others. See, sixth house is the house of health and diseases both. It is also the house of justice and injustice. In the same way, eighth house can give a profession dealing with illegal things, but it also gives a profession where someone will work undercover to grab such criminals. So, overall, it is the strength of the 10th Lord which will decide the field of profession, whether you are going on a right path or a wrong path. So, this is the realm of eighth sign, that is Scorpio. So, it would provide you with a profession where you have to deal with secrets, sudden changes, research, unexpected situations, disasters, and emergency situations. If your 10th lord is in the 8th house, you might get into a profession related to healing, occult, mystic sciences, astrology, surgery, earth resources, mining, research, disaster management, insurance, forensics, finances, or anything which requires investigation or diagnosis. See, your professional journey will never happen in a straight line. You will see fluctuations from time to time because 8th house can never be a stable house. It demands changes. So you may see unwanted changes or sometimes fluctuations in your professional journey. There will be highs and lows, but this doesn't mean that there will be complete failure because 8th house is 11 places away from the 10th house. So all of these fluctuations will trigger more growth and prosperity in your life. By dealing with the hidden secrets of this world, you will attain more respect, recognition, and achievements. It's true that when 10th Lord is in the 8th house, one doesn't get the respect for their work and efforts. It is true, whenever 10th Lord gets into the 8th house, one doesn't get respect for their work and efforts, but it's not a forever story. 8th house, yes, it's the house of darkness, but there cannot be darkness forever. It is a very successful placement. Remember, it's 11 places away from the 10th house. 11th house is the Upchai house. So with time, you will see massive improvement and growth. And most importantly, take care of your emotional state. A lot depends upon that. When the 10th Lord is in the 12th house or the Amatyakaraka is in the 12th house, it's said that one wanders a lot in search of livelihood and success, plus there will be lack of material comforts. Well, it is true to some extent, but there is more to it. 10th Lord, when gets into the 12th house, it is very certain that there will be struggles and difficulties in your professional journey because you may not get the right opportunities at your birthplace. That's why the term wander is used. In order to find out your right opportunities, you will detach from your family, you will move into the foreign lands, or simply a place far away from your birth area. In ancient times, leaving one's own country and moving across seven seas was not considered auspicious. And it is a major reason why 10th Lord in the 12th house was considered to be as the Duryoga, as you deal with society's pressure and then you move into a complete stranger place to earn your bread and butter. In fact, 10th Lord in the 12th house is a much better placement than the 10th Lord in the 6th or the 8th house because this placement makes you highly knowledgeable and also it brings the wisdom of Jupiter. Whatever you will do in this life, it will help you to attain more respect from the masses. Subconsciously, you may feel that you are not up to the mark. There can be a certain degree of self doubt. So, you will constantly improve yourself to attain more and more success. As a result of this, whatever work you might do, you will get tremendous upliftment. Also, this placement is a bit challenging. You may take up some time to figure out what you truly want to pursue. Follow a work which is based on your intuition or your interest. This will give you more clarity about your future. It's obvious that the nature of work will isolate you from your home, known people, or you may work in an isolated setup. Since 12th house is three places away from the 10th house, you have to put in a lot of effort to understand your potential and in order to attain more expansion in your work. Though you may face a lot of confusion in finding your true path, but once you find out your true path, no one can stop you from achieving success. If your 10th lord is in the 12th house, you might get into following professions. Well, it could be medicine, you might work in a hospital setup, or maybe a prison, ashrams, anything which is far isolated. Or you might be into a field related to traveling, healing, psychology, astronomy. You might frequently travel to foreign lands, or you might permanently settle in the foreign lands because of your work, or any work which requires a great use of intuition and imagination. You will definitely have healing qualities. Even if you are not into a healing profession, you will be blessed with a very healing aura.
So, guys, that's all for today's video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Till then, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.